Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome to Sinful Gaming. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. It is some hobby and hangout time on the weekends. Hello to everyone who is already joining us. Hello, Chadrick Vaughn. Just getting our paper down in our wet palette. We'll be working on the Blade Gun. The internet decides to cut out just as I start streaming. Of course it does. Hello, everyone. I hope the internet is going to be okay. If you are joining us, let us know what you're doing or what you're hobbying on, or how's your weekend been or going, depending where in the world you are. So, let's start. I've already base coated the blue, done the blue on them, started the base coat for the silver. Rust Belt Blacksmith, hello. So now we are going to get the helmets. Just get the base for the white. So we're going to get a lot of the base colors done to start with. So for the base of my white, I'm using Pallid Witch Flesh. So I'm just going to start applying a nice layer. First layer of this down. Oh, nice. Building Primaris Apothecary. I do have to pick one up for my Emperor Spears. I need one for the list I want to run. Moment, we're just going to do what we got. I've pretty much finished up the 25 or so intercessors, which will pretty much form the core of my army. And now this is one of my more elite heavy hitting pieces in the 6 Blade Guard veterans that will be making up this unit. Absolutely love this kit. I think the Blade Guard veterans are probably my favorite Space Marine models they've ever released. The kit is just gorgeous. Oh, home remodeling. Ugh. I mean, good, but also takes time. James South. Yeah, well, finally picked him up because obviously I got distracted by other projects, as you do. But we will have them up and running. I've got like a small 1,000-point force pretty much done, but now that was mostly Dark Imperium just painted up. And so now this is actually painting up a force of Emperor Spears that I want to play more of. So Assault Intercessors now and Blade Guard Vets and all that sort of good stuff. All the stuff you want in a combat Marine army. That's all Primaris. I refuse to buy old Marines anymore. Cheers, glad you enjoyed it. We'll be hoping to get them out on a almost weekly basis. Will be the plan. We started I've already recorded others. Oh, Chad, that sounds horrible to do. It'll be amazing when it's done, but it sounds horrible to be partaking in. It'll be amazing when it's done. It won't be fun while it's happening. Are you doing it or are you hiring people? That determines how much fun it is. Horrible to live, yeah. Are you doing it or are you hiring people to do it for you? Oh, you're doing it? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's not fun. It'd be amazing when you're done. It's always the way. It's when you're done something like that, it feels amazing. While you're doing it, you wish you never started. Ah. I mean, that's a really nice wedding gift. But boy, oh boy. Yeah, same, James. That's definitely what I'm looking forward to. And definitely seems like something they're pushing towards. I mean, we're likely going to see Blood Angels and Dark Angels if rumors are true for 40k, which, are two. It's funny. All the armies of Space Marines that have had books that aren't, like, so Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Black Templars, Space Wolves, all of them are combat focused. So I'll be really excited. I think, with Blood Angels probably coming on the horizon, we probably will see like jump pack combat troops. Like, that's just Blood Angels to me. I will look forward to imagine like Blood Angel Primaris Sanguinary Guard. I'll be eagerly awaiting that because I'll be painting up some blood drink at some point. All my power swords. The plan is all the power swords I'll be doing non-metallic metal on. So I mean, that's cool. Like, honestly, like less books, I play more armies. I like the idea of space. I liked. Look, I would pay $150 if I got this rulebook size thick book of all the Space Marines in one book. Like, I would pay rulebook price for that. Like, just give me a big thick book. One book could be, same size as the rulebook for the Space Marine army. That's all I want. Just be so much easier. Yeah, I think that's like it's so like even like no subscription, like so Warhammer is the only game I play, and I play a lot of games that has army books as a thing. I don't, and it's funny. So Parabellum's a really good example. I know like nothing compares to Warhammer; it's the biggest game, whatever. But like Parabellum give all their like rules away for free, and they sell a narrative supplement book. Now, it's quite funny. One of the best-selling things on their web store is that narrative-selling book, because the vast majority of people that play a miniature war game are interested in the lore behind the minis, because otherwise, if it was just the game, or, we're interested in it, we wouldn't paint the armies, we would go for the one. But everyone has that army that they are drawn to. They paint it, they play it, everyone is excited for that narrative. So most people, not all, there are some people that just will build the most broken stuff, and that's all they care about. But most people do care about the narrative to some extent. They probably will go buy a narrative book just to learn the game and the why is this war fighting happening. Like, they could sell just this big narrative book. The core rulebook does a pretty good job of it, but like, you could sell this big narrative book of Warhammer 40k probably for the same price as the rulebook. It's interesting because like, they are so out and out dominant. Like, there are other, like, I would say the gap between them and second is bigger than it's ever been before. However, the second to 20th is healthy. Is healthier than it's ever been in miniature wargaming. So GW are so far ahead now, it's not funny. But because they're so far ahead, it's enabled all these secondary companies, no longer being a threat to GW, to actually make their own stake in being something on the thing. Where before everyone was trying to compete with GW, where now you don't bother trying to compete with GW. It is impossible for any other miniature wargame company. Like, even Atomic Mass that produces Marvel and Star Wars games cannot compete with GW. Like, but that, like I said, that second to 20th game are all in a good spot now, are healthy, are supported, are doing good enough to stick around. Yeah, the good thing about miniature wargaming at the moment is there are options. It's interesting because, like, the pace of releases, I don't think affects the casual player too much. Like, for me, like, and at least now they're releasing those things separate. So these Kill Team boxes or Warcry boxes they're releasing, they come out, there's one every quarter coming out. But at least it's getting split up after. Like, you don't have to go and buy that big box. It's like, cool, I bought one of those. Me and my friend are split. We're going to, we just want the terrain for the new one and the rules. So we'll go buy that. We'll wait for that big box. We've got plenty of stuff to do in Kill Team or Necromunda. Yeah, they definitely are pumping out a lot of stuff. I think it's becoming harder to keep up with secondary games. And so people are choosing sometimes secondary, what were, secondary games that you would play alongside. So things like Warcry, Kill Team, Necromunda. People are choosing those games to be their game rather than, most people would play 40k or Age of Sigmar or both, but then would play the associated games. Like, I knew a bunch of people that played Age of Sigmar and would play Warcry and Underworlds because it was connected to that universe, where now it's like, I know people that are into Warcry, I know people that are into Kill Team, I know people, and those people are different than the ones into Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40k. Like, I am in a lucky position where I do this as a full-time job, so I get the benefit of doing this all the time. And like, not everyone can do what I do. Most people don't. Most people do play the game, but I will say that I quite enjoy like 1,000-point games of Age of Sigmar and 40k now. Like, they're going to a tournament, I like 2,000-point games because I like the fact going to a tournament, I play that decent sized game and I get plenty of them in a short space of time. For me, that is what is the best thing about tournament. But I think for me, you're going to see on the channel, at least for a while, you're probably going to see a lot more smaller size games. So 750 to 1,000-point games of the to 1,500-point games of the different armies. I think one problem for the 1,000 points works a lot better in 40k than it does in Age of Sigmar because they've actually made the missions appropriate for it in 40k. Like in 40k, when you buy the chapter approved, sorry, I forgot the name of what it's called. There are 1,000-point and 2,000-point missions in that. In Age of Sigmar, there is only 2,000-point missions. All the missions are played on a 6x4. It tells you to shrink the size, but it doesn't really always equate. Like in the 40k ones, it changes how many points, how many objectives are on the table. It does change the missions, and sometimes it just outright ignores them. It has in past ones as well, where it's just not applied certain missions that work at 2k. It's gone, well, this doesn't work at 1k. And so I really like that about chapter approved. I think Age of Sigmar really needs to do that. 40k works so much better than Age of Sigmar at varying point values. Also, 1,000-point games, you can get like 2 or 3 in at the same time frame as a 2k game. Daniel, I'm painting some Blade Guard veterans for my Emperor's Spears army. Some absolutely amazing looking miniatures. Probably my favorite Space Marine miniatures. Moment. Yeah, I'm always excited for Gobos. I have a big Gloomspite army sitting on the shelf there. My hope is, it lends towards something else. Underworlds is an interesting game because while I really enjoy the game, it's so hard to warrant investing in that game system because it's so expensive for what it is. One can hope. I hope it's a new book incoming. am I thinking? That's better. There we go. Sitting down on a better height. Got a brand new chair. Can I get it in screen? No. Not going to get a brand new chair. Got a brand new chair. That was my present to me this time. Contest of Generals. Yeah, the generic battle pack I think works a lot better at 1,000 points. I would say I'm just not a big fan of Galet at the moment. In all honesty, I think it's interesting. I've said this. I think Age of Sigmar as core game system is the best it's ever been, and the battle times are the best they've ever been. The GHB is probably the worst GHB there's ever been. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what they sort of do. With Underworlds going forward. I know its popularity has really dropped in my local area. A lot of people were like super hyped when they saw the Skaven versus Dark Elf box, and then absolutely no one bought that box in my local area because it was just too expensive. It's gone up like 220% since the original box. I wouldn't say like I generally play like mixed arms lists. I just think with how it sort of pushes so hard into these particular things, it makes army list building for a competitive sense not that interesting. Like there's a lot of other problems besides the actual rules of it as well that I think the battle plans are rather meh. Oh. Yeah, I haven't bought an Underworlds box since Diachasm came out. No, that was the last Underworld set I bought. I haven't bought anything since, just because like the price has just been off-putting. And like, really, because I am always painting models to get stuff up and done for the channel, I just don't have time to. I need to find, enjoyable models that I want to do, but also are going to serve getting stuff done for the channel. So, Underworlds, if I'm not playing Underworlds, it just doesn't fit. John, hello there. Hope you're doing well, mate. Also, for those watching, if you would like to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon and YouTube members down in the comments below. A couple of bucks, especially on YouTube members, will get you access to our cool little emojis, which should have gone in the chat just now. Or once we hit 25 YouTube members, we're a few off. Once we hit that, we will be getting some new emojis done up, and we'll get the community and our YouTube members mostly, and Patreons, to vote for what we're going to get done, what they want to see as emojis. And stickers for the thing. Yeah, if they're going to serve a purpose to my AOS army, sure. I was really happy that a bunch of them got rules in the last Warcry, but that's all really interesting on where it sort of sits. Because they didn't update the rules to the new edition, so I'm not quite sure where a bunch of those warbands now sit in Warcry. But that was a really cool thing to do, was putting them in Warcry. Really, really enjoyed that. If you are joining us, though, let us know what hobby you're working on. Love to hear from everyone and what you're all getting onto hobby-wise. And don't forget to drop a like on the video as well. Especially while we're live, it helps people find us while we're live. Roswell Blacksmith, these are Emperor's Spears. Funny enough, they are an Ultramarine successor, but they have their own rules that came out in a White Dwarf. White Dwarf, which I have right here, issue 460. So they've got their own rules. They're completely chapter approved. They are completely match play legal, even in tournaments. So I really enjoyed the book that Aaron Devsky-Bowden wrote about them, Spears of the Emperor. And yeah, it started me along the line of painting an Emperor's Spears army. Read some cool Black Library fiction, and now I've got an army of them on the way. But I've got a few things. Building that OBR. That was such a good box. I think the OBR one from last Christmas was by far the best one last year. That was such a good box set. Because I think you add another box of Mortet Guard, and it's like 1,500 points. It was amazing. Yeah, 40k is a lot of rules. It's a big game. So Emperor Spears, they get exploding sixes to hit whenever in melee, whenever they've charged, were charged, or performed heroic interventions. They also add 1 to their run and charge rolls. They've then got a bunch of stratagems that focus around giving them extra attacks and extra abilities when they're charging and while they're charging. So Blade Guard, interesting. Like at 1,000 points, the board's so small you can get them in. So yeah, in like smaller 1,000-point games, they don't need. They are pretty survivable. Like I said, the army can run. They can get run and charge on the Emperor Spears as well. So they definitely have ways with Emperor Spears to get up the board. Oh, nice Mandalorian and Grogu for Star Wars Legion. I do want to get I want to do the Ewoks. I want to do the teddy bear army and go murder people with teddy bears in Star Wars Legion. But I mean Ewoks, obviously. John, at the end of the day, it's your hobby. Do your hobby how you want. It'll be up to like your opponent on what they want to play and how they want to play. But yeah, it all depends on your local community. I can say something, but really that's going to depend on what your local community is like. Some tournaments might go yes, some tournaments might go no. Yeah. I think that all depends on your own personal local community. It wouldn't bother me if they're on the right base sizes and we're playing a game. I don't care. All I see is another person to play a game with. I mean, for me, it's the reason I use the miniatures from all the companies is because I'm playing their games and showing them off on the channel. I think it's appropriate to show off the miniatures for the company of the game I'm playing. This is my favorite Blade Guard veteran. This dude cleaning his blade. Sprucrons, yes. Yep, Sprucrons are very much a thing. We had, when I was growing up, we had my cousins and a couple of my mates who would play Warhammer. And one of our mates, he came from a family that was not very well off compared to the rest of us. He couldn't really, like, I didn't come from a very well off family, and I definitely had it better than this poor kid. That's not the right word to use. That's not really nice. This kid that we were friends with, he was a good friend of mine. But yeah, he had a Sprucron army because that's how we figured out we can all get an army for him. So we made Sprucrons together. We would spend there for days. We would get our box and then we would build up Sprucrons for him from our spare sprues and spare bits. And so we made a full Sprucron army so he could join in and play games with us when we were younger. It was awesome. Like his Sprucron, he had really cool Sprucrons. I think we decided they were all like weird robots that amalgamated everything. It was cool because like some of them had like Tyranid guns and all that. Because like my cousin had Tyranids, I had Eldar, and then there were Sisters of Battle, and which there weren't any spare bits from because back then they were metal. And Space Marines, so it'd have like a bunch of Space Marine, Tyranid, Tau, and bits, and even some of our fantasy miniatures. It was cool. At the end of the day, we were happy it got another person in to play games with us. Fortunately, no, I don't know many people from my childhood. I'm pretty sure he's moved away now. Like, I moved away first from a lot of my friends for work, and then when I met my wife, I've come back to sort of the same area, but all of my friends have now moved from. So I'm back where I grew up now. I lived here, moved away for work, and then now I grew up in the suburbs. I moved into the inner city for work as a chef. Very easy to get work that way. And when I met my partner, now wife, we moved back out. But a lot of my friends are now have all moved out. The unfortunate part where, I had my first full-time job like straight out of high school. I was working, like I had my apprenticeship and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of my friends are still at uni or finishing uni or starting their jobs. These guys will be walking at 1,000 points. I don't think there's any reason to pay for a transport. I think transports at 1,000 points are just not worth it. I don't know what I'm going to do in large games. Like I said, there's bonuses to run and charge, though. I think we're playing on a proper terrain board. It can be pretty easy to get them where you want them. But I probably will look into getting some transports for my Space Marines at some point. Yeah, at 1,000 points, the table's so small. Those super fast units, I think, like they're there for alpha striking at 1,000 points. Yeah, they're also quite good at being the second line. I think it's only a matter of time before we see, Primaris drop pods and stuff like that. That'll, be updated versions. Cricket World Cup. Dude, I'm always painting, so don't feel bad about that. I'm always painting. I'm always hobbying of some variety. But we definitely need to tee up a game at some point, James. Get around for a couple of 1,000-point games, maybe with your White Scars. Yeah, like I'm lucky. Like I have the ability to go. This is my work. My kids are a little bit older though, so not too hard to paint while they're playing. I can't say I'm sure on that. I know generally you have to pay a CP to start off the battlefield. Oh, nice! Getting a small Necron army. I got a small Necron force. I've got the box set painted up. What was it? Indominus. I've got some more Necron warriors and a Annihilation barge. Oh. Yeah, guard looks super pumped. I'm super pumped for guard. Just gonna do black tabards. Yeah, the new version. I love the new Rough Riders. Cavalry charging in 40k. Love it. I have no idea on that, Chad. I would assume it's going to have a couple of different gun options on it. I would assume it's at least got a couple of guns, probably a couple of like different options on its sponsors. That'd be pretty sweet. So I picked up the Black Templar. I managed to pick up one of the Black Templar launch boxes on the cheap not too long ago. So I've got some Black Templars to build and paint. I've also got Adeptus Titanicus. I managed to find the core box for that. So we're going to have Adeptus Titanicus coming to the channel at some point. And what else did I find? What else have we got? I got some more Old Dominion models coming as well. So some really cool stuff coming. Yeah, there'll be some cool stuff. So I've got a day of recording tomorrow. We're going to be doing some Age of Sigmar battle reports tomorrow. But these models are so cool, the Blade Guard veterans. All right. Such cool minis. Got a Blade Guard Ancient to paint up as well. So the Librarian and the Judicia and a Dreadnought there for them as well. A Captain, and I've got a couple of Primaris Lieutenants. All combat focus, so lots of Storm Shields and Power Swords. Anthony, hello, mate. How are we? Hope you're doing well, mate. So, some good news. I find, yeah, I'm feeling better. Still on the mend. Still like a bit, but getting there. Good news though. I've officially caught up on all my other work I need to do. So hobby hangouts should be a lot more frequent. So this is why you have an outside dog. We just get woken up by two little children. Crawl into bed and then wake us up. It's funny because like the wife doesn't get woke up as bad as me, and she doesn't realize that they cuddle into her, while me they kick me out the way, so I get shunted to the edge of the bed. She gets cuddles, I get kicked. I'm in the way of them getting to mum. I hope they're Spider Clan, Chad. The logo doesn't make me think they will be, but you never know. Logo is much more Moon Clan looking to me. But, I mean, it's the only part of the Goblin line that needs a refresh now because everything else got refresh. I mean, the base Goblins are fine. That'd be pretty cool. Be cool to get a web spinner shaman on foot that you can get without having to purchase an Arachnarok and then not put the shaman on the Arachnarok. Just a matter at the moment of getting all these base colors down nice and solid. Apply the washes and then we can start layering them. No, but there is a generic endless spell called the Malevolent Maelstrom that's pretty much like a ticking time bomb you can put down. Yeah, you have the Cruel Boys have one of the dirty tricks where they can pick terrain features to be trapped at the beginning of the game. There's a few other models that have things that can do that sort of stuff as well. Oh, nice. I have a friend who made a Grot Rebellion army. It was amazing. You mean the one you can't shoot over? That's called the Prismatic Palisade. If you're looking for a wall that you can shoot over, look at the Suffocating Gravetide. You gain cover from being behind it, but you also can shoot over it. Nice. That's my biggest hope. I hope there's a large army of like witch hunters and stuff coming in an Order of Vizier army, or at least for Dawnbringers Crusades, we're going to get a decent amount of witch hunters and stuff because I love witch hunters. Theme. You could do something like the Dreadwood, which is like very capricious Sylvaneth, found in Realm of Dead a lot as well. Could do something like the Sylvaneth are the Hangmen. So you've got all the witches and stuff that are hanged at the Sylvaneth's on the Sylvaneth's branches, so you can hang like skeletons and stuff from them. Nice full shooting list with a couple of tricks. Yeah, it's actually like the treemen. The trees are the gallows. Tell you what, painting 6 models is so much easier than painting 25 of them at once. These are so much more like detailed than the assault intercessors, but it really doesn't feel like as much of a chore. Yeah, there's plenty of like nice little details on them, but it's still not 25 models at once. I can batch paint my way through stuff, but it does wear you down. I think it's important when you batch paint something throughout. It's why I do like big blocks. It's normally how I go through an army is I'll paint the majority troops first, because that is the hardest part of an army to get done. And then once that's done, you've only got your small sort of extra units. So painting like 25 assault intercessors means I've now got 6 Blade Guard veterans. I've got a bunch of characters. I've got a couple of blacks. I've got a dreadnought to paint. You know, I've got different stuff to paint now. Going to do like a jungle themed basing on them, because they're supposed to be from like an ocean world that's got all these jungle islands all over it. So But yeah, so now we're going to start getting all the leather done. Like I said, it's all just blocking in these colours to begin with. And then we can get the washers down. And we can start the layering work. The only thing I've got to do with the Assault Intercessor, I've just got to recess shade all the armor panels, which sounds like a lot, but Space Marines, they're all very similar. It's recess shading Space Marines is super, super easy and really quick because it is all a very similar process. Like, there's not different contortion. Space Marine recess shading is recess shading the same parts of the armor on every model. It really does come together quite quickly with recess shades. Same with edge highlighting Space Marines, which I'll have to do a bit of. Although I've already painted a black army. I've got my Eldar black armor because they're Ulthway. But painting them was fun. There's a lot of edge highlighting. And edge highlighting the edge highlights. So I've got about 3 Space Marine forces I've got to paint now. Well, 5 actually, because I've got 2 for Horus Heresy. I'm building up. I've got the box set, so we're splitting that into Blood Angels and Alpha Legion. And I've got my Black Templars, which just came. I've got some Blood Drinkers will be what I start working on next. Space Marines probably. But after this, it's going to be getting my Conquest armies done. Old Dominion first, because if I can get over to CanCon, that's what I'm going to go play at CanCon. I'm going to play Conquest, Last Argument of Kings at CanCon. Yeah, quite excited to go play Conquest at CanCon. First, 2-day event of a non-GW game will be really fun. First event for Conquest I'll actually be able to attend because not a lot of them happening in South Australia at the moment. But good fun game, so keen to see more of it happen. So many little bits and pieces. Like this dude here, the sergeant, he's got a key on that he's got on the inside of his storm shield. It's just not so many like cool little details on them. Keen to get like some other games. So we're probably recording that. We'll probably get some Moonstone and First Blood happening this week as well. Be really keen to get some Conquest First Blood happening on the channel. So what do we reckon we're going to see pop up in the Warhammer community article this week for pre-orders? Because we've got the Leagues of Votan out now. What's going to be pre-orders? Are we maybe going to see the Ogre book? That could be really interesting. Seeing ogres. Oh. And No, I didn't end up grabbing him. At the time, I hadn't planned on getting Black Templars when he was out. I just saw the box online. I think I picked it up for like $150, the launch box for Black Templars. For those not Australian, I picked that launch box up for around the same price as Nagash in your local currency. A little bit cheaper. Yeah, at 150, I was just like, you know what? I like Templars. I like this. I just read the Helbrecht's novel that had just come out as well, so I was very how should we say, influenced in my decision based on what I'd just read from Black Library. But yeah, at 150, I was just like, mine, done. So at that, I couldn't resist at that cost. Titanicus and Warcry I picked up for $250, the latest Warcry box. So that's normally $390. I picked that up for $250 on eBay. Brand new, it's getting shipped from the UK, so it was actually like $250 shipping. So I saved like $140 by buying from the UK instead of Australia. And then I've managed to find a Titanicus box for $190 as well, the Titanicus starter set. Yeah, for 150, it was hard to say no to that, especially since like I love the artwork of that book so much. Like I don't mind. Normally, I really don't get too attached and too sentimental about codices and stuff like that because they are getting released so quickly. But that was such a cool limited edition cover. I'd like to, when that book's no longer usable, I'd like to get that book like framed because I really like that artwork. But yeah, I'm quite excited. There's a few good things coming out. I was just looking at my map of Skyrim I've got sitting up there. Actually, quite excited because the second edition rulebook for Elder Scrolls Call to Arms has just gone to print, according to the people behind it. So really excited to see that get a new print version. That's such a fun game. The best comment I can give the Elder Scrolls Call to Arms game is it feels like I'm playing Skyrim, which is exactly what I want from that game. I really think it depends on the army list. I generally look at it like, can I make strategies are one use only, or they affect one thing. So generally, if a command trait or a relic would give me rerolls, if command trait or relic would give me rerolls, I'd take that over saving a CP because that CP reroll is only once. So I'm not going to reroll to hit. If I can get rerolls on something in any part, I'll take that artifact or that relic. That is normally my first look. If I can get some ability that's permanent, I find it more worth it than saving the CP. James, the Elder Scrolls Call to Arms, you play with about 6 minis on each side, depending what warband you're playing. Things like Stormcloaks, Imperials, they play with about 6 minis, but Adventurer warbands generally play with about 2 to 4 minis because, and depending if you've got the Dragonborn in your Adventurer warband, you generally are spending a lot more points on him because he's generally a jack of all trades mini. But it's quite an interesting game because you can play Elder Scrolls Call to Arms in solo play, so it can be just a board game for you to play by yourself or with others. You can play it as a board game, like a cooperative game, delving through dungeons and stuff like that. Or you can play it in verse mode. Both games I really enjoy. And it uses the same system for both. And verse mode's really interesting in that it's actually you versus your opponent, both years in the wilds of Skyrim. The amount of times that Skyrim has kicked mine and my mate Nick, who I generally play with, kicked our butts is quite hilarious. Where we've been playing Stormcloaks versus Imperials, and there's random Draugr on the battlefield, and the Draugr overlords come and kicked our butt, or random beasts. I remember this one wolf killed 3 of my dudes one game. But quite fun. At the moment, they've got Stormcloak. So at the moment, they've got rules out for for faction wise. You can play as Stormcloaks, Imperials, Draugr, Dark Brotherhood, Adventurers, Nightingales, and Blades. And they're waiting on. They've got miniatures, but they're waiting on rules for those miniatures, which will be the new factions, which will be Bandits, Volkir Vampires, and Dawn Guard. And they've got College of Winterhold coming soon as well. Yeah, there's a whole set of Dark Brotherhood minis. So you have, at the moment, you've got 2 box sets you need for Dark Brotherhood. You've got the character one, and then you've got the scrub one. Lackeys. But yeah, pretty cool. You've got all the major characters except for the werewolf dude and Cicero. So you've got Astrid, You've got Babette. You've got Festus Rex. You've got Nazir. And you've got the Shadow Scale, the Argonian dude. I'm going to pick up the Dark Brotherhood myself. I haven't actually picked them up yet. But yeah, they're really nice minis as well. They are resin, but they're really, really good minis. Because originally, like, I hadn't even played the game when I picked the first minis up. So I'm like, oh, this is Stormcloaks. I just want to paint up a Stormcloak. And then from there, I sort of got hooked. Enjoyed the game quite a lot. But yeah, so there's quite a few games that have been out that I'm quite enjoying that aren't Warhammer. So Conquest, Elder Scrolls. Been really interested. I've been checking out and reading more and more on Umbra Tourist. The more I read about that game, the more I can't wait to get the minis on the table to play with. Got my little sentient jack-o'-lantern dudes, the Diniacs. Let me show you them. So these are the Diniacs from Umbra Tourist. And James, thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. You get a shout out in all the videos, and you can also use all the cool little emojis now. They're all yours. Enable me to keep my lights on, man. But if you're ever interested in trying out a game, if you're ever keen on trying out a game and you know I have it, hit me up. I'm always happy to show off some of the games and show people how to play. Did you go to the tournament on this weekend, James? You go to the Dragon's Lair one? I was supposed to go, but unfortunately, I'm not up for a tournament at the moment in current state. Each YouTube member gets us a little closer to getting more emojis for everyone. Oh, awesome. Yeah, you said you got a little one. Yeah, Crusade is certainly like something. So for a while there, I was not well enough to do bat reps. Was pretty much what it was. Those who don't know, I've been in and out of hospital for I've had 3 hospital visits since COVID, and I got COVID early this year around March. So I've had a few lingering effects from COVID where if I get sick, I'm getting really sick. It's generally quite knocking me out, but I'm feeling better on the mend. They think they've sort of found what issues are. So no need to worry on that end, but has meant that I just haven't been, for those who have noticed, bat reps sort of dried up a bit. But they are back on the menu. I'm getting regular games in against friends again, and against the people who do help quite a bit with the channel. So the aim will be to getting and trialing more different game styles future. Yeah, if you've got 1,000 point army, once you get something painted up, James, let us know, man, and be happy to give you some games. So I've got that White Scar logo all done for you. But yeah, Crusade, Path to Glory, all that sort of stuff is certainly things we will be looking at in the future soon. So looking forward to getting into all of that. And yeah, when I finally got a little bit better, I went over to Hobart, and I got sick as soon as I came back. But Hobart was a success. I did go over and win a GT. I was quite happy with going over and getting my first ever GT win. So yeah, we want to get I definitely want to get like more campaign play and so like narrative stuff happening on the channel. I know Age of Sigmar tomorrow, the plan is to run through the core rulebook missions. So I want to run through the core rulebook missions, and we'll probably go through Thondir as well, and start going back and playing some of the older missions. Just because I generally find, like I said, I don't like the missions in the current GHB. They're not my personal favorite ones. Yeah, there actually are some siege rules. So, not in the core rule. So, before the current GHB, Age of Sigmar used to have a really cool General's Handbook. That was a much thicker book back in the day. And in those, the narrative supplement part of it would change every year. So 1 year we got like mega battles, 1 year we got sieges, 1 year we got multiplayer, 1 year we got aerial battles, 1 year we got underground battles. And I sort of stripped all that narrative content out, which is a little bit unfortunate because, like, one, the GHBs were cheaper back then, and now you're getting less stuff in them than you used to. But yeah, I have the Age of Sigmar siege rules. Yes, there are siege rules. They don't think they've been updated for the current edition, but they would work the same. Yeah, there are a bunch of different like Age of Sigmar narrative rules. I'm really excited to see 40k. I want these shipboarding ones. I've got a whole box of like cool stuff that'll work well that I should paint up for these shipboarding missions for 40k. A whole bunch of like MDF terrain that'll work really, really well for them. Yeah, I've got like this multi-level like thing that'd be great for them. Yeah, man, I love small games. Like I love these smaller point value games of like 40k and Age of Sigmar. I think there's a lot to them. Yeah, I'm really excited for those shipboarding actions. I want to see more stuff like that for 40k. What else have I picked up for? Oh, that's the other thing I picked up for 40k that I've been painting slowly is Aeronautica Imperialis. Picked up that. I'm probably going to pick up the other sets. I really, really dig the game for it. I think it's a fantastic game. And who doesn't like painting some tiny planes? Blade Guard with Shields will look amazing on boarding actions. That and like things like heavy intercessors. Yeah, I hope they do Battlefleet Gothic as a sweet reprint. Aeronautica's not quite as expansive as that, but it is like a fun little game. I do quite enjoy it. I've got the Eldar vs. Space Marine set. So painting up the Space Marines as my Emperor Spears, and then painting up the Eldar as my Elfway Eldar. Be pretty cool. We used to do like I've done like campaign battles before where we've got like an idea as well. So you'll play like a game of Aeronautica, Adeptus Titanicus, and Kill Team before you play a game of 40k. And the idea would be each one of those games will give something in the battle. So you'll be playing, and you might even play multiple of them. So you'll both play a couple of Kill Team games, and both of them. So you'll play 2 Kill Team games that'll be trying to assassinate or rig different targets. You'll have different objectives you'll try and do. So you could potentially blow up an objective or assassinate a target or do something on the table. So you'll play these 2 Kill Team games and they'll give you those bonuses. You'll then play a game of Adeptus Titanicus with the Titans battling over, vast miles. And so the winner of that game will get once per game use of a Titan's weapon in that battle. So just get to put a massive template for a Titan weapon somewhere once per game. And the Aeronautica one will allow you to perform strafing runs and bombs as well during the game. So you use all the other game systems to influence how your 40k game is going to play. One hope is Titanicus looks at fortunately, Titanicus is for Horus Heresy, but I really do hope at some point they look at adding other factions into that game that aren't just Imperial Knights, and aren't just Imperium versus Chaos. I'd love to see like Eldar Titans or Bio Titans for the Tyranids or Orc Stompers and stuff in the game. Yeah, being a cool idea. And you can play like campaigns like that as well, where it's all like interlinked. I've done campaigns where we've had like Aeronautica Imperialis games, and what you do with them is they sort of need the game so you can try and control air support. I don't think we're going to see Epic at any point, John. I think Epic is now Titanicus. I don't think we'll see Epic. I can't see why GW would make Epic. I think Titanicus is what we're going to get for Epic. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of cool things they can do with a bunch of these different things. I'm not sure we'd ever see Epic make a comeback, but you never know. Never say never. I would have never thought we would see Fantasy come back, but hey, we're about to see Old World. Well, I can't say about. We'll see Old World sometime in the next 20 years. Alrighty, but that is going to be the end of the stream. Been streaming for a couple of hours now. I've got some other stuff I need to get done, but thank you all for coming, hobbying, hanging out. Thanks to those that subscribe to YouTube members and Patreon and all that sort of stuff. Once again, that stuff's all linked down in the video's description. If you are helping the channel in any way, thank you very much. All very much appreciated. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll hopefully be doing a lot more hobby hangouts now that I'm starting to catch up on my work. So stay safe, everyone. Stay well. And most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.